Hello, good afternoon, good morning to Stormy, our resident American, and
hello.
Guess who's back? Davey's back.
Dave's
Hello.
back. Why did you lay Dave back?
I don't know, mate. I didn't ask. He just turned up. I just got this it just appeared. I've been trying to remove him all afternoon. He just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
Did you try rebooting?
I need to turn it off and on again. Then he'd fuck off. Dave is back because we've asked him and he said yes.
Oh, well, welcome, Dave.
Thank you,
Guys,
everybody.
Today we are transmitting on the Sidetrack channel and our new channel, which is actually our old channel, The Machine. We used to do the Brief History Mystery, and we used to do the Mystery Machine shows every week where we talk about mysteries and blah, blah, blah. We stopped around Christmas because of me. But we're getting going again. So this week we are on the Sidetrack channel and we're on the Mystery Machine channel. Please, if you like the nonsense we talk about over the next hour or so, go over to the Machine. The link is in the description, and subscribe to that and join us next week for nonsense. There are also links to Stormy's channel, sci-worx, and Dave's channel, Darius Lives. Guys, we'd love you to go subscribe and support the channel as always. This basically gives us an opportunity to talk about stuff that's not sci-fi. So anything else we want to talk about, this is the channel for that.
Woohoo!
So how are we?
I'm doing well. I'm doing quite
good.
well.
Yeah, doing good.
Right, well, as we could talk about whatever the hell we like, I'll start. James Bond. They've picked a James Bond. It's not official yet, but it's going to be. Apparently, there's negotiations going on at the moment. But there's going to be a James Bond. And it's a black fella. So, British black fella, to be fair. He's English as well. I'd be more worried if he was Welsh. A Welsh James Bond? No, not happening. But a black
I don't think it rolls off the tongue as easy. Taffy Bond, does it? Or Davitho Bond or something like that, you know.
It always amazed me when Sean Connery was James Bond and he didn't sort of like go brew, iron brew. So I think that's all this Scottish drink really. And also Mars bars that I cooked in the deep fryer. Don't forget. Have you ever heard of this, Stormy?
Mars bar cooked in a deep fryer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was in the South. We put everything in a deep fryer.
Battered fish. You know, like batter from battered fish. So you would batter the Mars bar and fry it.
Yep.
They've got the highest heart disease levels in Europe. Wonder why. But anyway,
pies too, you know. Apparently,
they fry freaking everything.
They fry pies, yeah. They pies in batter, and I mean, is that not just sacrilege? Is that not like against some? Is that not a cardinal sin against like baked products of some description? That I mean, it seems completely out of order to me. That I don't want to alienate. I don't want to alienate any of our northern cousins, as it were. You know what I mean? But, I mean, there's got to be a line.
There is a line. It's the border. We shouldn't cross it. But they have Cadbury's cream eggs are like cocaine to me. I realized I had a problem with Cadbury's cream eggs. That I went to a shop and bought 6, and by the time I got home, I only had 3 left, and I only lived about a 3-minute walk away. So I realized I have a problem with these damn little lovely eggs. They deep fry them, and that makes me angry.
That makes me like. I met a guy at this just down the road from where I rehearse, and he came into me, and he's always acted like a little bit, supercilious, and every now and then he will ingratiate you by acknowledging your existence, so that's always nice. But one day I thought, I'm going to ask this guy what he does. I mean, he's got this air of self-importance. It must be something really good, And he said, I work at the university, so of course I'm massively interested now. I want to know what it is. He says, well, we develop scanning techniques. Oh, yeah. Okay. So what is it you're scanning? He said, well, last week we scanned a Cadbury's cream egg. So I said, surely we already know what's inside cream eggs. I mean, we make the things, do we not? I mean, it's no mystery what's inside them. He says, well, we got to have some way of getting a grant. So apparently they invent scanners or invent scanning techniques to scan the inside of chocolate products, Jamie. So maybe you should invite them around to your house so they can stick you inside and see what's in your belly.
I know it's in my belly. Popcorn mostly. I went to the cinema really. Saw the new Harry Potter. Dumbledore's gay.
Was it any good?
Better than the second one. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was okay. Grindelwald, I just wished Johnny Depp was still Grindelwald. I'm not a huge Johnny Depp fan, but he was a better Grindelwald.
Did you guys watch any of the footage of the
Yeah. At the moment,
I gotta interject this. Oh my god, the craziest shit from that whole thing was, had pictures of his setup when he'd snort coke.
mm-hmm.
Instead of a straw to snort the coke, he had a tampon applicator to snort the coke.
Have you seen though the photos of her? There's a load of Instagram photos with her and a sexy friend with the fucking tampon applicator sticking out of their mouths like it's a thing. Like oh, look at this with the tampon applicator.
Rolled up 20s are yesterday. They're so old fashioned. Nobody uses them now.
Because you can't roll up Bitcoin, so I guess tampon applicators is the next place.
It's interesting.
Did you see? Sorry, Jay. Did you ever see the interview she gave when she should have some kind of like deposition or something in front of a court? This might have been last year. You see how psychopathic she was. Well, there was a behaviour panel reading a body language or non-verbal communications, we like to call it, everybody, just in case you're interested. And she's absolutely, so I just thought I'd slip that in there. She's just so massively, passively aggressive, and even back then I'm thinking to myself, I'm fairly sure you're going to come out looking like the bad one out of this particular nonsense.
Yeah,
and it's looking.
I didn't get the counselor. They had 4 sessions. She had 4 sessions on her own, and they had 4 sessions as partners. And they says the woman said that it was a mutually abusive, but then went on to talk about 10 minutes about how she would come in, talk over Johnny Depp, and control the conversation throughout.
No wonder he's on coke.
Yeah, I mean, this is a man that used to hide in the toilet to stay away to try to avoid the argument. He would hide in the loo. How far has man fallen? we hide in the loo. He would have been. I have more respect for him if. No, I was going to say something really bad then, which suggested he slapped her. But no, you just never hit women. Just don't. But I don't hide in the loo either. It's like there's a middle ground there, isn't there? But no, at the moment she's coming off as a complete psycho, and he's just
say something that might not win me many fans here, but it's the best place for Johnny Depp because I've always thought he's full of shit anyway.
Well, he's definitely full of drugs.
Well,
he comes over as he's lying on the deposition. I thought initially, but then you actually heard some of the recordings of them in the counselor sessions. That's just how he talks. He's like really slow. And then he just that's what, so it sounded like he was trying to find words in his deposition. I was like, no, this guy's just brain is so done in over drugs over 30 decades or whatever.
I used to think the very same thing about Ozzy Osbourne. Right? And it's just like, okay, dude, his brain's fried, and he has a sister that's really religious, very never touched anything. She talks the same way.
That was a very good impression, that, by the way, Stormy. I felt like I was actually in his presence for a moment.
And then you learn he's been talking in tongues this whole time, both of them. But I saw it on like a MTV, some sort of documentary. It's like, oh my God, he's not high. His sister talks the same way.
Maybe she was high too. You don't know.
Is that how they talk in Birmingham? I guess it is.
It's just people from the Midlands, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh! I'm from the Midlands.
Oh, so that's
well,
Birmingham. It's just down the road from me. It's about 20-30 minutes down the road from me. So I was there on Sunday watching a show at the NIA. My wife made me go to Dua Lipa.
I think 30 minutes away means you're in safe territory,
I'm just far enough away that we don't have terrible accent. Our accent is, otherwise, I'm going to go look at some chimblies now. And then we're going to go have
chimblies,
Oh, chimblies. So I don't quite have that.
Do I need to Google chimblies?
Chimblies.
Chimblies.
there's a reason why if you're from Birmingham and you become a pilot, they make you go through elocution lessons. Because could you imagine your pilot coming and going, "All right, I'm your pilot. Today we're going to be flying at like 50,000 feet for like 6 hours." You'd all be jumping through the windows trying to get off that damn plane. You'd be like, "Oh my God, it's the thickest," but it's just a thick accent. You just sound stupid when you use the accent. But we're just far enough away that we don't have the terrible accent. I'm actually considered quite posh for my area. We just say "all right" a lot. And in Telford, it's got one of those things that all right is, you know how in Hawaii, aloha means hello and goodbye. That's all right for us. So we go, all right, all right,
all right.
But it's like, it's the question and the answer. It's the strangest, and everyone's your mate. All right, mate. It's just everyone's my mate. But that's it. And Albis means hello and how are you, Albis. But only in one small part of Telford. The rest of the people in Telford go, "What you on about?" So that's how, like, just in the Dawley part, Abyss. Gotta love it. At least I'm not a Liverpudlian. I wouldn't be able to do YouTube if I was a Liverpudlian. Nobody would understand damn word I said.
Say it again. I didn't understand a damn word you said. I
need to adjust my speakers here. Hang on a second.
For accent.
It came through. I don't know what it was. It's got to be a text. Maybe I should turn it off and turn it back on again.
Works for everything. That's the golden key to IT.
I'm going to turn mine down slightly. I'm very loud.
Switch it on and off again.
Right. So anyway, Black James Bond. Because I do want to get to this. Me and Davey had a quick chat about this, and we have very different opinions. So Dave, you just throw it there. What is your opinion on a black actor, an English black actor playing, even though he's got a very French name? That makes me more angry. His name's Rene, or Jean.
Oh, we're not talking about Elba anymore.
No, he's well, you'll have to watch my video about that. But Elba hasn't been considered for a couple of years.
Okay.
No, his name's Regis Jean Page. Is his name? He was in the series on Netflix last year called Bridgerton, which was very popular.
Oh, he's
yeah, he's adorable. Apparently, he's got the part because women want to make love to him. But we'll come back to that because I think that's
I even said he's cute. So I mean, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say if that's the only remit that gets you the job of James Bond, then why isn't me?
Exactly. Well, we were talking about that earlier. We are sex gods. Why aren't we James Bond? I don't like martini. That's one problem. Surf and Turf, The Machine, is because this is going to be a different channel. We'll explain this a couple times. We're on Sidetrack today. We're going to normally be on The Machine. This is going to be our channel where we can talk about whatever we like other than Sidetrack. So in future, you'll see us very happily on the channel, The Machine. There's a link in the description. Go subscribe right now. Do it now.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Or else. As my mom used to say. I found out what or else meant once, by the way, when my mom threatened me with or else. It wasn't good.
No, I found out on many occasions what or else meant, unfortunately.
Yeah. Normally it was an empty threat with my mom, and then I found out once. But anyway.
Yeah, Paige was also in Dungeons and Dragons, which is in post-production.
Dungeons and Dragons is in post-production with Chris Pine. So Captain Kirk is playing that. I'm really looking forward to that. I liked the first movie, though. And I think I'm the only one.
I think we talked about that last time.
We did it. We've talked about it before, haven't we? I really liked it. But anyway, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, it's looked like it's going to be cool. But anyway, Bond. We'll come back to Dungeons and Dragons. So what is your opinion on Dungeons and Dragons? Not Dungeons and Dragons, for fuck's sake.
Well, that's where you brought the subject up. Go ahead.
Just to confuse me.
My opinion on Dungeons and Dragons is
yes.
The James Bond thing is, for me, it doesn't really matter per se, right? Okay, it doesn't matter who you cast, but I don't think it's down to that. I sort of like, we're in an age where and a society where there's a lot of virtue signaling going on, and I think a lot of it's based around that rather than, he's the best guy for the job. And it's, for me, it's nothing to do with the color of his skin. I don't care about that. I'm not interested in that. If the only thing you've got as a human being, the only thing you've got pride in is the color of the skin and where you're from, you got some kind of nationalistic pride, then quite frankly, you're a twat. You know, if that's the only thing you've got to be proud of.
Are we allowed to say on the machine?
No, I don't think so.
You'll tell us shortly.
Look, I'm voting for twat 24/7 right here. I think.
Oh, there you go.
We're all crusty 3 old guys, right? We don't give a fuck anyway.
Yeah.
So,
God damn it.
what away?
For the love of God, just don't say the C words. There are 2 C words you can't say. For the love of God, don't say either of them.
Let's see, there's conservative, and what was the other one?
No.
In fact, you said the worst one out of the 2, quite frankly, I think.
Conservatives.
The con word.
Yeah.
I think
I'm so sorry. I've ruined it for everyone.
So soon.
Oh, I don't know.
The mystery machine lasted all of
16
minutes.
16 minutes, man.
16 minutes. We got back.
2,000 subscribers off the back of that one comment. Brilliant one.
A good example on the James
for me,
Bond
it's like,
thing oh, sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to say is basically my take on it is if it's about virtue signaling and just trying to, like, you know, revamp the franchise to meet in with current social norms, if you like, then it's for the wrong reason. By the very same definition, I don't see anything wrong in developing a character in their own right and just starting something afresh. I mean, in all honesty as well, this is nothing new as far as I'm concerned, that kind of thought process, because I think there's too many reboots, there's too many rebuilds, there's too many, you know, like look at Friday the 13th. Quite frankly, that's just taking the mickey, really, isn't it? Part 624. I mean, after the first 1 or 2, it's like, yeah, okay. And, you know, I mean, I don't know a great deal about this particular, like, concept. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ian Fleming only wrote so many books anyway. So, you know, if we're going to the truism of what, like, Ian Fleming were going on about, then I think we've pretty much drifted away from that many years ago. So it's not about who or what he is, just why it's being done, if you know what I mean.
What do you think, Storm? What's your instinct, your initial thought?
I think it's like Tim Allen, that no longer playing Lightyear, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of my C friends here in the United States think it's just a travesty. It's just, you know, virtue signaling, you know, but if you know, Lightyear is a very, very, very big character for the Disneyverse, you know, for Pixar.
Yeah.
If you look at, you know, I think anybody would say, you know, the leads of those films is probably, you know, Tom Cruise and Tim Allen, certainly. Yeah. But if you look at the movies that Tom Hanks makes, right? They're all blockbusters. I mean, you know, we're all tearing down the walls to go see them or stream them or whatever. Tim Allen is not a draw. If you look at some of his stuff, you know, that he's done in terms of just acting, I mean, there's one that was so bad recently that they showed it in Israel once and never showed it again, and it never even went to DVD.
No.
You know, do you like Galaxy Quest though?
Yeah, but how many years ago? How many decades was Galaxy Quest? Let me go look.
It's a great movie. How many sitcoms?
Galaxy Quest was, you know, 23 years ago.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, it's always, in Hollywood, it's always, you know, how much did your last movie make? That's what you are.
Yep.
You know, but Tim Allen, I mean, he just can't carry a movie. And here Disney is probably going to spend $200 million, $300 million, probably $150 million on production, another $150 million on marketing. Mm-hmm. Tim Allen can't carry it.
Well, I'd argue that as far as Galaxy, I know it was me who said Galaxy Quest, but as far as that's concerned, I don't think Tim Allen carried that anyway. I'd go with, you know, like Alan Rickman and Sigourney Weaver were probably the ones who carried that.
Well,
anyway.
Yeah.
Carries everything though. He was in God Rest His Soul.
And you know, and Galaxy Quest was an ensemble, like Toy Story, not you know, the Tim Allen show. And anyway, like his TV show, which is okay, gets okay ratings, but it gets okay ratings from us, you know, people my age that don't spend any money on anything at all. So how profitable is that?
Well, in that case, Andrew, taking that point, this new chap, who's a relatively new actor, he's not really particularly well known. This is MGM's biggest franchise. It's the biggest thing they own. Getting the Bond, now it's owned by Amazon. Amazon are very keen for this to be the big relaunch. They're using an actor that nobody knows.
I didn't know his name, but I knew his face. As soon as you said Bridgerton, I knew exactly who you just had to say Bridgerton, and I knew who you were talking about.
just broke my pen.
But so, here we all think, well, it's got some other kind of, crazy conspiratorial reason why Tim Allen's not going to be the new Lightyear, the voice of Lightyear. I think with this Page guy, I think it's kind of the same thing. For one thing, you've got to start off young. They're looking at probably a 10, 15-year run, and if you listen to some of Craig's comments, he says, good God, I can't physically do it anymore. And he liked to do a lot of his stunts and stuff. So you got to
start to do Time to Die. They had to. He didn't want to do Time to Die. They had to throw money at him.
And so I think if the two things that at least primarily is you have to live through it for 15 years, be able to physically withstand it for 15 years, and you got to be good looking. And his acting skills is decent on Bridgerton. I thought he was very, very good. He's very engaging. And it's just I'd never thought of it as he's supposed to be the white guy of the Bridgerton house. I just don't.
Tell you what, the plan apparently with MGM, and has been for a while, is that obviously after Daniel Craig, Bond is dead. So we're going to see a much younger James Bond. Which is the main reason why Idris Elba, Tom Hardy, a couple of other actors that apparently were interested aren't going to be doing it. It's going to be this Page fella. The black thing for me, I don't think it really matters too much for me. I'm with Dave, really. I think the skin color really doesn't matter. If it's relevant to the character, though, obviously it does. One example I had on the comments when I put this on my community page a couple of days ago was, well, you can't have a white Shaft character in a new movie. One, because it's Samuel L. Jackson. We all know that Shaft. But also, you couldn't cast a white guy in that character. Does that argument hold water? Is it the same?
I mean,
I think it is.
What do you think, Stormy?
I mean, the only reason I'm saying that is, the limited knowledge of like Shaft. I've seen one or two of the episodes that were out, like the original runs and stuff. I suppose it'd be similar to having a white huggy bear on Starsky and Hutch. It's just the very essence of what the character is supposed to be in its inception, if you like, or conception, suggests that is the accepted norm. But then, is it about changing what's accepted and what is the norm?
I think it was, and I'm just looking at this through the lens of American culture. I got no idea how it'd be looked through there. Shaft was definitely a black character.
Yeah.
It was like there was a TV show here in America in the 70s, early 80s, I think. No, maybe the 70s, called Banachek. Right?
I remember Banachek, yeah.
There was okay. So I forget the actor's name, but he was a Polish guy, right? And that was they always made fun of him, but he turned out to always be the smart. Was fighting against the bigotry of whatever's in the room. He's fighting against that all the time. He always turned out to be the smartest guy in the room. And Shaft here, it was kind of telling the American experience, which at times is not that pretty. A lot of times it's not that pretty, especially when it comes to race relations. And he was, Shaft, had to be in a urban town and had all those same themes. And so, if you put Martin Short as Shaft, I think it'd be a disaster. I'm just saying.
I think it's just to think. Banachek was George Peppard.
George Peppard. Yes, I'm so sorry.
George Peppard. I only knew George Peppard from the A-Team. Obviously, like Hannibal. I loved the A-Team when I was a kid. One of my favorite TV shows. So when I found out that George Peppard was going to be on Terry Wogan, a TV show that we used to have here in the UK, Stormy, you would know, it was like 7:00 in the evening chat show. George Peppard was one of the guests, and he came on wearing a big pink cravat and a big pink hat, and was just very camping. He was obviously a homosexual fella. I was only about 9. I didn't know what the fuck was going on? Mom, what's that? I'm always just, oh, isn't he flamboyant? Mate, it just blew my mind. But anyway, to go back to this, I think the Shaft character point is that he is a black, but it's fundamental to the character and the story and where he's from. That part in New York, where he was from, everything like that. It's very fundamental as a black character. I don't think James Bond is quite the same, because I think the bit about James Bond is, well, what's core to James Bond? A narcissistic, quite a narcissistic character, I suppose. The womanizing, the drinking, a tortured soul, because of how he had the love of his life that was taken away from him. He had a thing of honor that he had that was a bit warped, I suppose. But these are the things that made Bond suave, got to look good in the tux, these are the things. I don't think his skin color was like fundamental to who Bond is.
It's more fundamental that he have a nice car than he have any type of skin color.
I was more angry when they put him in a BMW.
Oh my God! Yes, it was a travesty. It was a travesty. The Queen's it was horrible.
Some would argue that it was a travesty when they put him in a Lotus.
Yeah.
Well, at least it was, at least it was British.
At least it's a British sports car.
A submarine car,
an MGP. I'm just saying.
I think one of makes James Bond up with some kind of sailor thing. I mean, I don't know about the submarine car thing. And Moonraker, I mean, come on, please. Sticking him in space too. They went off the rails with James Bond many years ago.
Moonraker. Way.
I denied about whether I should do a video about this, which I've done it. I've just need to edit it and put it on. But it's really sci-fi. And then
many James Bond films, many James Bond films have absolutely chewed ass. That's just whether people want to admit it or not. They really have. It was nice to see Richard Keel doing the Jaws character. That was a nice little thing, and he ended up being a good guy in the end. All very cool, but a little bit cheesy. It lost its way for me after Roger Moore. Just saying.
I think Roger Moore was it was brilliant. It was brilliant. But I thought he was better than Sean Connery, and that is saying something. But he had a cheeky sense of humour to him, didn't he? That Sean Connery never quite had.
He was a cheerful chappy.
But I mean, I think that's for me though is what it comes down to. And if this guy can wear the tux and he can do the suave and he can do the and he's a good actor or whatever, doesn't bother me. This black guy. One of the other actors they were considering, and apparently he was really, really wanted it, was Tom Holland. Tom Holland. That wouldn't have worked. Tom Holland is a white guy. He's at the right age for what they want to do, and I think he's a really good actor. But he looks 12. Can you imagine that guy?
He always look 12.
Yeah. Have worked. This guy that they've got, other than he's a little darker in the complexion than some people would like. Other than that, I think he fits the role brilliantly. For me, I think it works. But
yeah, if it's the color of his skin is the only beef you've got, and I mean I'm talking generically across the board. Anybody who might watch this, or just anybody, full stop. If the only thing you've got against the guy having the part is the color of his skin, then you're the one with the issues. Basically, that's the top and bottom of it. And I think Stormy nailed it. The most important thing is as long as he's got the car.
And a laser watch. A watch that goes. I don't know why I did it on the wrist that I'm not wearing a watch on. I could have done that.
You totally ruined it, man. You practice for a week. Move on.
An invisible laser watch. That's what I want.
Something close.
If Tom Holland had the part, his only weapon would have been like exploding teddy bears or something.
That's pretty cool. Exploding teddy bears, yeah.
And that was a reference to other 00s. Never mind.
Apparently, I think the live chat is still working in. It's just nobody said anything for a minute or two. We keep talking. We don't need to get in there. But yeah, so I think that's big news. I do think people are going to get angry about it. You're saying about how they're doing it to like send a message, though. I don't think they are. I think this is a really big reboot. It's really important. And there is such a thing that this is maybe cynical for me, but there's no bad publicity. So I think these producers will be looking at this and going, everyone's getting really angry about this.
Let's send out a press release.
Yeah,
let's send out more photos.
Yeah, we'll pretend to be really angry that that everyone's bothered about this. Isn't it a shame that all you want to talk about is race? Blah, blah, blah. And all they're really thinking is, we're getting clicks. Thank you. And I think that's all they care about. I don't think they care. They don't give a shit about sending out a message. I think they care about how many people they get.
There you go. Though you've in a way you've argued against your own point there, because if they know they're going to get the clicks by doing what they've done, then they have done it for the wrong reason. If they totally know that it's going to trigger people, and then people are going to click,
Yeah, I think so. But that's
as long as he's got the car.
Exactly. But that's it's a lot of people think, it's because of this woke brigade. They have to be woke. And I don't think it is. I think they want our money. That's why they're doing it. Maybe I'm being more cynical, but I don't think they give a crap about woke ideology. I don't think most shows do. I think they care about getting clicks.
Oh, well, I think they do, because if that's the culture and they're dependent upon that culture, because at the end of the day, it's about bums on seats, as it were, to use an old colloquialism. It's about bums on seats. They still want people to put their asses down and watch it, whether it's at the cinema, wherever, whatever, and they will do whatever it takes to get that. A bit like a politician, they will do whatever is fashionable to get elected. Doesn't mean they'll do what's right. They'll just do what they think people want, or that give the impression that they're doing what they think people want.
Ian's made a point here.
People will do anything for clicks.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys kept up with, I don't know if it's even hit your news, but there's this guy named Trevor Jacob, a YouTuber, had a pilot's license. He got this old, unairworthy, old 1940-ish airplane. Put on a parachute, and he's going to fly the airplane to Mammoth up in near Sequoia National Park, and he was going to sprinkle his friend's ashes, right? But what he did instead was he faked a engine out scenario, jumped out the airplane, leaving his cameras on, physically attached to the airplane. You see the airplane, you follow the airplane down to crash. It crashes in California, and then he films his journey with selfie stick in hand, detailing the 12-hour journey of walking out of the Los Padres National Forest. All for clicks, and the FAA just ripped him a new one this last week. I forget how many millions of views that the thing got, but now that the FAA has ruled that he did it for clicks, now the Department of Justice, the Department of the Interior, the EPA, the great state of California is all, they're just going to tear him a new one. He jumped out of a perfectly good airplane
to make money. But that's been the shit's been going on. These YouTubers have been tending to hate each other and fucking all sorts for years. Like, we're in a massive rivalry. Yeah. Get clicks. Please subscribe. Hate him. That Dave guy over there.
And they'll also say they hate one another, but they'll say, make sure you subscribe to both channels.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
If you hated one another, it'd be like, subscribe to me, but fuck him over there. The man's an idiot.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see them unplug him.
This is what I think of him. Now go subscribe to his channel for him to tell him what he thinks of me.
There you go. Yeah,
it works because people love a bit of confrontation, don't they? That's the thing. But Ian's made a point here. I was worried for a wee bit that we might have a Jane Bond, right? So obviously we had a Mrs. Doctor Who. Mrs. Doctor Who, is that right? Is that what we call female doctors?
It'll do.
Doctor Who boobs. I never had a problem with this because surely it's not a human being anyway. Was he a male anyway?
He's never been a ginger, or she's never been a ginger.
He can't be a ginger. That would make me more angry. Or if he made him Welsh again, that would be terrible. But does it matter? But with Doctor Who, I don't think it matters. I love the line where he says, "But you were a man," and she gets right into his face and goes, "I got an upgrade." I love that line.
That's not the only line you can love, and I'm just sorry. I'm so
I've got to say though that. To throw that in is a little bit virtue signaling, isn't it? It's a little bit feminist. You know, it is really. It's a little bit. Yeah, but I got an upgrade. It's like, you know, come on.
I took it as a joke,
come on.
but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it should be Doctor Who is a doctor and Gallifreyan. That's it. There's no any stipulations outside of that are not relevant, really. Surely.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's just weird he's never turned into another alien. Really, why does he always look like a Homo sapien? He's never turned into those. But could James Bond be a woman? Would it work?
You see, this is it. It's like, why not just come up with a new character centered around that? Why not just have a female agent who's very skillful? She's attractive to men, or she's got all this. You know, why do that? Why dick about? Yeah. Just make one in their own right. Have their own character, their own strengths. Do it. We had in the superhero universe, there's Wonder Woman. Nobody wanted her to be Wonder Man because it'd be shite.
I mean, you know, Dave's reading Daniel Craig's mind. I mean, he and one of the other directors, I think, said the very same thing. You know, why is it impossible for us to even write a good part for a woman these days? Yeah. I mean, you know, the British Secret Service is pretty historic. It's long lived. There's lots of stories to tell. You know, she can still be 007, but does she have to be Jane Bond? And it's like there was a black woman that was like 007 for about this much in the last picture. Mm-hmm. And she did admirably until the title was snatched and given back to James Bond again. You know, I think 007 is just like, it is a title almost, you know. It is a title in this world. And why can't, like Dave said, why can't we? Are we so unimaginative when it comes to female characters? Can we just not fathom a strong woman? You know, I mean, they said the same thing about Sigourney Weaver in Alien. Like, Why? And originally, it was supposed to be a guy named Ridley Scott.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
She's the leader with the cat as a sidekick. I love it.
You see, what gets me regarding all this secret agent stuff is you just got to look back through history. Many SOE operatives and agents that were dropped in France during the Second World War, and even marquee fighters, were women in their own right. They were strong characters. They were brave, resilient. They fought against overwhelming odds. You don't need to replace whatever with whatever to send any kind of message or for the clicks, shall we say. Women. Sorry, Stormy, but that's Stormy said that women in strong roles should be accepted anyway. And why not just write for that role in the first place and develop a character that people can get behind and take on board?
I think the difference is, though, for me, 007 can be a woman, and I thought the chick they got to play it in that sounds derogatory straight away, doesn't it? But the actress they got to play her in the Time to Die. She kicked ass. I thought she was.
She did. Oh my god!
Yeah. And people got so stressed about that, and they wanted to get as far away from James Bond. They literally wanted the opposite to James Bond for that character. And people kept going, 007 can't be a woman. And I'm like, well, yes, it can. It's just a title. And she kicked ass. I don't think James Bond can be a woman, though. It wouldn't work.
M was female.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So exactly. So was the bride a strong female character in Kill Bill?
Yeah, she kicked ass.
Uma Thurman, absolutely ass-kicking character.
Yeah.
I think there's loads of really strong female characters nowadays. We don't see the female character that just runs around screaming like we used to. I think there's quite a few female characters. I mean, Lara Croft. She was great. There's lots. I know she's off from it. The thing is, though, I think James Bond is talking about that thing. It's core to his character. What makes James Bond James Bond, and a lot of it is kind of the womanizing. But the womanizing is a side effect of his psychological, the harm, and his like tortured soul and all this. I think if you had a Jane Bond, people would fucking hate her, and women would hate her. And now we can get into like the misogynistic thing of like, what's the difference between a slut and a stud? A slut sleeps with loads of women and is frowned upon. A stud sleeps with loads of women and he's a fucking hero. You know what I mean? It's just like, and it's not fair at all. They're exactly the same, and it's a crappy culture that we live in. But people would hate Jane Bond if they made it the same character.
Yeah, I think if they named it like Lana Peller or something, 007, Lana Peller, it's a whole different story. And I think it gets over. We're married to Bond.
Mm-hmm.
We're not married to 007. I think if they do go reboot or however, if it's a new agent, it's not Bond. Then maybe it's an opportunity to get us to love 007 instead of I don't know. It's
maybe that's the next step.
But just going back to the whole wokeism thing and Buzz Lightyear, one of the last films Tim Allen did, I know I'm boring, was Three Geezers, Not Us. Has some big names: J.K. Simmons, Scott Conn, Basil Hoffman, Kevin Pollak. The worldwide gross for this movie was $4,175.
I grossed more than that on Sci-Trek.
Yeah.
Yes,
you do.
$5,000. That's how. No one is going to spend $300 million on the back of Tim Allen if he's pulling those kind of world box office numbers out. Just saying. All right, enough about Hollywood economics from me. Shut my mouth.
Yeah.
Well, it was mainly based around Tim Allen, as many of your rants have been tonight. Has he upset you today, Stormy, this Tim Allen thing? Not a big fan of Home Improvement, then, I take it.
I kind of liked it. No, it's just that here everyone sees it. Oh, he's just doing it because he's conservative. They fired him because he's conservative. No, because Disney hasn't gotten to where it is today, churning out $1 billion movies 2 or 3 times a year by making stupid financial decisions. And it's just no one goes to see a Tim Allen movie for Tim Allen, apparently.
My only thing, I was a bit surprised with with Chris Evans doing it, though, was that he hasn't got a particularly distinctive voice. I don't think he's got a voice for animated movies. So when he's doing Tim Allen's voice for Buzz Lightyear, he created a character, and the voice had character and it added something to it. I've seen some of the adverts with Chris Evans, and it's like, it's just Chris Evans. There's nothing, there's not, I don't think there's anything to it, it's just like, so that's the only thing that I'm not surprised they changed the actor at all. Right. And they want to do something fresh, want to do something different. I just don't know why they didn't do it with somebody that's got a slightly more distinctive voice.
Maybe not. But he sure has the fucking box office for it, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He can't do much wrong.
How many $1 billion movies has he been in the last couple of decades? Like all of them,
Well, yeah. And Knives Out with Daniel Craig was fantastic as well.
Great movie.
Actors screaming to get into the sequel of that movie. I was just some quite big actress didn't get a part. I can't remember who it was now. And she was like doing like a YouTube video crying that she hadn't got in this part. And I was like, calm down, it wasn't that good. I mean, but it made an absolute fortune though. It cost like 50 quid to make and it made like $100 million. So Knives Out, the sequel, is going to be huge. But,
huge.
So I think we've sorted that out then. So James Bond will, in the next movie, be transgender. Do we have to... He, she, I don't know other things.
Transgender robot. There we go.
As long as he, she drives an Aston Martin, we're good. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yes.
That's the important thing. I think we.
And when he goes up to the bar and orders a Carlin rather than a martini, then we'll all just go crazy. What 22-year-old guy will drink a dirty martini, shaken not stirred? It's just like we all drink.
My thing. It's unfair because gin's my thing. I just love gin. So
here we go. Jack wants us to talk about flat moon theory. I didn't know that was a theory. Is that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. We will, as part of the machine, talk about mysteries and all sorts, but we'll also, it's more about we want to hear and talk about what we want to talk about. But guys, get in the comments.
I don't want to talk about flat Earth. I mean, flat moon or anything.
I watched a thing about flat Earth today, though. I have to admit, flat Earth came back into my thingy cube. That'd be a good one. Imagine finding the corner. I so want to stand on the corner of a cube of a dice, a human dice, like, and just balancing on it. I think I don't think that's the thing either. But
Earth
so
is
anyway, has anything else been thrown up in your lives that you wanted to discuss now we've sorted out Bond?
Well, I mean, I thought we was only doing an hour.
Yeah, we got 20 minutes.
So many things thrown up in my life.
We cover sometimes like what we've watched this last week. I've got to report in on a movie made in 2014 I watched last night that was horrible, kind of. I mean, it's a new take on this, but oh my God, there was one thing that really fucked it up for me. I've lost my train of thought.
What film was it?
Come back to me. I got to look something up.
Okay. You haven't even told us what film it was. Stormy, what was the name of the film?
Hang on a second.
You can't remember the name of the film.
That's how much of an impact it had on him. He can't even remember the name of it.
Okay. So, right. I couldn't remember which one it was, but it was The Suicide Squad, right?
Hey,
and it was 2021. I got confused with another bad movie I was watching, but we won't talk about that. Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
It's one with Sylvester Stallone as a shark.
Yeah.
And out comes the bad guy, played by Peter Capaldi, with vacuum tubes anchored in his head.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Holy shit, was that bad? It was bad. I mean, I couldn't poop all day. It was really bad.
Not even Margot Robbie wearing very little saved that movie.
Nothing. It's just.
Do you know the crazy thing is though? They did the Peacemaker TV series, and it's fantastic. It's so good. I've watched it twice.
Really?
Absolutely brilliant. They do this whole as sci-fi. Well, we're bleeding back into sci-fi a little bit here, but as sci-fi fans, I'm a massive Alan Tudyk fan. I think Resident Alien, is just finished for me over here. It's the best sci-fi show that's been on in years. It's fantastic. He actually did the dance move. He choreographed the dance move for the start, but because his wife is actually one of the producers, and they choreographed the dance bit at the start. Honestly, Dave, if you haven't seen it, give it a go. It's just ridiculous, but it's the right sort of ridiculous. That the silly part of my brain just goes all the way
know
through.
Me, I'm a big fan of silly.
Oh, you'll love this then because it's ridiculous.
Oh, is this on HBO Max?
Oh, we got it on Sky TV over here.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. I'll give it a go.
Oh, mate, it's glorious.
But there's no Peter Capaldi with vacuum tubes.
No.
God, it was very difficult to watch. I kind of like Peter Capaldi. His guitar strumming, Doctor Who, but no, Suicide Squad.
Well, there's a lot of white supremacy going on. There's just horrific violence, really violent, and the gold eagle that sort of dances and things. It's great. You can't really argue with it. It's just brilliant. And I love John Cena. I really do like John Cena. I think he's brilliant. I watch him in loads of interviews, and he's so funny. And that comes out in this series. It's honestly, I didn't want to watch it because I hated Suicide Squad. I would rather put a knitted needle through my kneecap, right, and then attach it to an electrode and electrocute myself than watch Suicide Squad again. But I can't actually wait to watch Peacemaker again because it's just fucking great. It's just really good.
I'm shocked. I will give it a try. I'll give it a couple of episodes.
You know what it reminded me of? It's like the Army of Darkness with
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. It really reminds me of Bruce Campbell, all the way through the character and the way it is, and the way it puts it together. But that's what it reminded me of. And the series that they did of that a couple of years ago, Bruce Campbell. That's how it feels to me. But it's absolutely fantastic. To go back to Stephanie's point here, which is actually I think is a really good point, and somebody mentioned it earlier. There's one strong female character. Do you remember that Aliens? the movie Aliens, where they got the Marines.
Oh yes.
Had the one woman, I forget her name. Sorry, I'll have to Google
Vasquez.
it. Vasquez with a massive freaking gun. Was that a strong female lead, or was that just she was because she was playing a bloke?
Green.
I don't know. I don't think she wasn't particularly strong. She wasn't. Where's the line? How do you figure that out? Though is it playing a bloke's role, or is it?
Well, maybe that's the problem. We are looking for the way we even phrase it is strong female character. Implying that strong females kind of don't exist. If the woman playing Vasquez was playing a strong character, that's the question we more suitably asked. Yeah, because certainly she played a strong character. She protected the very with her life.
And she's one of the most memorable characters in the movie.
Yeah. There was somebody wanting to do, or I saw someplace stating that they should just do a backstory, a whole film on her. Just last week or so, and I don't know, maybe it was in Giant Freaking Robot, and maybe shouldn't read that site anymore, but it was someplace that I saw that they should just do a whole series on Vasquez. I
want to see Hudson in it though as well, but I love Bill Paxton. I thought Bill Paxton was great, but Hudson character was fantastic in that movie as well. They're the two characters that stand out for me. The rest of them are a bit, I was a big fan of Michael Biehn. I always thought Michael Biehn was great. Loved him in that. I loved him in the first Terminator. He's just one of those actors. He's just a likable actor. He was terrible in that Seals movies they did, but we'll ignore that. They were Michael Sheen.
That was just a shit film, full stop. Though that really wasn't it.
Oh God, it was made for about
that was awful.
Yeah, with no budget.
It was awful. Yeah.
Yeah, they got some actors in it, and they were happy. But yeah, Private Hudson was just great. But Bill Paxton, he was at that age, he'd done that and Weird Science, and that was about all he'd done.
I think if you look at his career, he pretty much plays a shite-ark in nearly every film, doesn't he? I mean, really, in a way, he was massively typecast just in his personality, regardless of the concept of the film. He was always a bit of a shite, Bill Paxton, a bit of a coward, a bit of a gobshite,
Have you ever seen Two Guns with Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington? He plays the bad guy in that. It was one of his last roles. He was really sick, apparently, already during making that. And again, he played like a CIA shyster, constantly sweaty, and was just like a real slime ball sort of thing. And I'm just like, yeah, that's great. That's Bill Paxton all over. This is the perfect one. That's one of those rare movies. It's a perfect movie.
Well, picking up on McAvoy's previous point, Starbuck. in last BSG is, well, remember how much the bee's nest was stirred up concerning, a female Starbuck. It's just woke. Oh, well, it wasn't woke back then. It was just, political correctness. Mm-hmm. Billed as. And she rocked, man. God. It's just, she did wonderful. So
I actually saw the producers talk out, and Roland D. Moore talked about that a few years later, and he said, we decided to do it because the character had been done to death. Not Starbuck necessarily, but the womanizing and the smart talking and all that sort of thing. And he says, it got to a point where the Starbuck character was boring. Yep. We didn't want to do it again. So we thought, what's a way to liven it up a bit? Make him a woman. And
for me, there was no need to include the cigar. If you're going to move on from that character, don't keep the cigar like Dirk Benedict would rock, because you're not doing an 100% job. That looked absolutely dickish. For me, I think she's done a good job, and I've got every single episode of the movies, and I'm not hating on it at all. I think she done a fairly good job of it, but she just come across as being butch. As people have said in the side chat, as a strong woman, but acting mannish rather than a strong woman in her own right. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think the cigar was necessarily, but that's just my opinion, I suppose.
To be fair, they didn't keep the cigar along.
Well, she did it early on, to Baltar for something for Jack. Yeah. Wasn't there some sort of at some point in time is used as currency? I thought, all sorts of things. Cigars, nice.
But again, those things that
anyway, I think it was my plot point about the cigar, kind of illustrating the niceties of things in living in the colonies is going away very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I remember Baltar said something like, "These are the last two cigars from the in the universe. And they were from the finest manufacturers in the whole 12 colonies, or something like that." But yeah, it's and then after that, I don't think I ever saw a cigar. Maybe
probably not. I didn't have any. But my point is it was the producers' reasoning for doing it. Wasn't to be woke. It wasn't to do so. It wasn't even to get clicks. It wasn't anything cynical. It was we need to do something with this character because it's boring. We need to do something else with it. And so
I think all they done was make it exactly the same as the old Starbuck, just a woman. It was a woman acting like a man for me.
You know
like
what the thing
is? I've got every episode. It was a woman acting like a man rather than a strong female part acting feminine. Act how you want, but it's obvious what they were doing to me. I'm not fooled by what they were doing, despite what they might have said, the producers. It's all over when you watch it. She acts very manly, very butch, very male, short cropped hair and all that lot. Make Starbucks a feminine female if that's what you want to be doing, but don't do this. No, yeah, it didn't wash with me. I'm sorry, guys, but no.
Do you know the thing that pissed me off though?
What made you mad?
Well, in the original Battlestar Galactica series, there were several strong female characters. Wasn't Adama's daughter?
Yeah.
One was a fighter pilot, and she was a strong character. Yeah. I'm looking at the character list now. So we've got Lieutenant Athena. I just love the guy that played Baltar. He was just one of my favorite actors. He was just fucking awesome. Lieutenant, there were several really strong female characters, but Obama's daughter, they just didn't bother put her in the new series at all. And I was like, well, you had a strong female character there. Why did you made such a big deal about Starbuck, and you've dumped a perfectly good character there that you could have used instead?
Very valid.
But all right then, guys. Well, that is our mark. We're and I think we've done well there to keep it around an hour.
You don't want to discuss James Callis as Picard's daddy?
No.
Sure. You had so much to say earlier in another video about Picard. I did
a video yesterday about Picard, even through snot and through a cold, because I was so angry. Watch it. The only thing that really annoys me about that series at the moment is it makes no freaking sense, and that annoys me. And there's too many. It wanders off all over the place. Picard.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Oh, look at that! There's something shiny over there. Let's go talk about that for 45 minutes. No, will you please just focus on the Borg are all we care about. Will you just focus on that, please?
Yeah, magpies.
Yeah, they are. They're writing magpies. They're like, oh, you know what? Picard, he was angry at his dad, wasn't he? Also, was he? That's never been mentioned before.
Yeah, exactly. Like when did Picard's when did that ever appear in anything else? And I was like, well, when did that happen?
But they had that whole thing with his mom building up to it through the whole series, and then just turned out she was mentally unwell. And it's just like, oh, okay, I thought that was going to be something relevant to the other story. It's got nothing to do with nothing then, no? It's just, I'm saying 3 stars on Amazon, Picard Series 2's got, and I think that's generous. It's shit. And I'd say, honestly, I said at the end of that video yesterday, I am, where's my camera, that close to giving up on Star Trek. And if Strange New Worlds is as bad as I suspect it's going to be, I'm going to have to never watch Star Trek again.
You'll come back to Lower Decks because you love you some Lower Decks.
I do.
Right?
Yeah. I actually can't wait for that. But you know what I can't wait for? The best Star Trek series is about to return, and I'm very excited about it. The Orville. That's a Star Trek series I want to watch because that is brilliant.
When does that come? When does that start?
It's in the next couple of months. It's been like 4 years since that series, but it's coming back. And apparently, there's going to be a movie. There won't be a 5th series. There'll be a movie, and that'll be it. Apparently, but that's just a conversation. I don't know if that's a fact yet or not, but that's the rumor. But hey, I love it. Why not? And then I want to see Seth MacFarlane do Spaceballs 2. That's what I want. I want Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, and I want Seth MacFarlane to do it because I think
is that actually going to be a thing? Spaceballs 2?
Apparently, they're talking about it, but somebody's going to put it in the comments now because I keep going on about this. How much I want Spaceballs 2 the movie. It's not the Ian messaged me a couple of weeks ago. Goes, yes, we know. Like we know you want Spaceballs 2. But yeah, apparently it is one of the MGM are trying to figure out they want to reboot a couple of movies, and because Star Wars is so popular at the moment, they'd like, well, that's a perfect way to take the piss out of Star Wars. We'll do Spaceballs. And I'm
anyone want to comment on Moon Knight on Disney Plus?
I've only seen the first episode. I've not had a chance because I watch it with my kids and they're never here, so I haven't watched it.
It's kind of bloody good. Oh my God, I'm picking up your euphemism. It's really good. Not bloody good. It's really
bloody lovely. Bloody cup of tea. I like the first episode. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I will get back to it. But I've started to watch Daredevil with the kids and they love it. So they just want to watch that. They don't want to watch anything else. So, and we haven't mentioned Dave's hat, but somebody did in. Oh, M Family, you're back. M Family is one of the people that have been bugging us on the channel to return. So this one is for you, sir. We're back. So,
we're back in family.
We are. So we will try our damnedest to be on every week about the same time. Sometimes it'll be with Stormy. Sometimes it'll be with Dave on the Mystery channel. And we will talk about whatever the hell we want. Sometimes we'll have no topic. And other times we'll have something we want to talk about. Talk about mysteries and whatever you want to talk about. So please, guys, get in the comments of the stuff you want to talk about or us to talk about. Let us know, and we might do it. Or we might ignore you completely.
Yes.
One of those two things we'll definitely have.
I think we need to talk about woke Bigfoot.
Woke Bigfoot. Transgender. Right. We're going to get into so much trouble because the YouTube algorithms don't pick up on sarcasm or humor. All they hear or say is transgender Bigfoot.
And you're going to get so many crazy, like, what?
I'm going to get so many emails off YouTube saying, yeah, we've took that video down.
Right.
Because you used the C word, didn't you? And I was just like, I said celery.
Celery.
They never believe you. They don't never believe you. But yeah. And so it's the return. We're back.
Yeah.
And now we're done. So thank you, Stormy.
You're very welcome.
American. Thank you, Dave, in your flat cap.
Yeah, man.
If ever a man can rock a flat cap,
yeah, man,
it's you.
I'm a northerner. You know, we wear flat caps up north. You know how it is.
I just look like a flat cap, I have to admit. But I've put my collar up because I'm feeling cool today. So and I think I'm rocking that. Thanks for everybody that's got into the comments. You've been absolute legends. We will be back next week, same bat time, different bat channel. So please go and subscribe. To the Mystery channel. No, the Machine channel. The link is in the description. Also, you can go and join Stormy and see more of Stormy on his channel, sci-worx. And Dave on Darius Lives, because even though I keep putting it as Darius, even though I've known you now, Dave, for well over a year, I was searching for your channel today to try and add the link, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't find it.
Is Doritos the French word for Doritos?
Yes.
It can be.
Or is this a Latin root? I'm not sure.
Why is your channel called Darius Lives or Lives?
It actually came from a spirit box session. It actually came from a Ouija board session, and then subsequent spirit box sessions. When a name kept coming through, Darius. So it's actually Darius. It was Darius Lives because that message come through on a spirit box on more than one occasion, and then because I started to do a lot of lives, it was Darius Lives and Dorias and all Doris. I've been called all kinds of things, so you know.
Darius.
I'm used to it.
That feels like a future episode. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Out of all of the places that question could have gone, I didn't expect it to go.
Now I got to put a Ouija board up here. You know.
Yeah, I was on a Ouija board. The spirit board. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for our relaunch. It's been emotional.
Been brilliant.
We will see you next time, guys.
It's been so emotional. My heart is in tatters.
I'm breaking up.
Say bye-bye, Stormy.
Goodbye, Stormy.
Say bye-bye, Dave.
Bye-bye, Dave.
And guys, we will see you next week. Thanks for joining.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Oh, wait a second. I'm trying to press the wrong.